In other news elsewhere, Peter Friedlander, an executive of Netflix, recently revealed the particulars of the firm's numerous cancellations in 2022. According to him, the preceding 12 months have been a period of chaos for Netflix, which had formerly been the unrivaled streaming champion. With the pandemic escalating the requirement for content, Netflix has come up against stiff competition from Disney+, Prime Video, Hulu, and HBO Max. So, what were some of the most notable cancellations in 2022? Before we even look at the most notable cancellations, let's first dig a little deeper into the issues behind the cancellation. Where is the bait? In a talk with Variety, the director of the scripted series for a streaming platform revealed that the cancellation of numerous shows after only 1 or 2 seasons is a difficult but necessary decision based on business aspects. This likely means that the streaming platform has to carefully consider the financial costs and benefits of continuing to produce a particular show. If the costs outweigh the benefits, it may be more financially viable to cancel the show and allocate resources to other projects. The director also addressed the cancellation of shows that have remained in the Netflix top 10 for several weeks, despite their popularity. This could be due to a variety of reasons. One possibility is that the show is expensive to produce and the streaming platform is not able to recoup the costs through subscriptions or advertising revenue. Another possibility is that the streaming platform has a limited number of slots for new content and has to make difficult decisions about which shows to keep and which to cancel to make room for new projects. Netflix doesn't function in the same way as a classic network, according to Bella Bajaria, global head of TV at Netflix. Commonly, networks will commission pilot episodes and then cancel a lot of shows before anyone can even view the footage. Instead of this, Bajaria stated, "We go straight to the series in the beginning rather than make pilots, which can cause more cancellations in season 1. Despite this, Bajaria believes that this model is the correct one for Netflix. This may explain why a lot of highly praised shows don't make it past 1 season, such as I'm Not Okay With This, Teenage Bounty Hunters, and Cursed. Netflix even declined to give I Am Not Okay With This a proper conclusion by reshooting the end of season 1, as they did not wish to pay for the changes. Netflix has a complex method of determining how well a show is doing, which takes into account both the viewership and the cost of the renewal. They provided this information to the UK's House of Lords Communications and Digital Select Committee, which includes 3 categories of viewers: those who watch the initial episode within 7 days of its release, those who watch the entire season within 7 days, and those who finish the show within 28 days. The cost of renewal for shows on Netflix often goes up, rather than sticking with traditional networks. Netflix tries to entice producers with bonuses and salary hikes as the series progresses. Speaking to Wired, Tom Harrington of Ender's Analysis stated that this is why many Netflix series end after 2 seasons. He commented that the more they recommission a show, the higher the cost of making it. The pandemic further complicated this situation as Netflix had to pay actors while they waited for production to resume, which caused expenses to increase. Jonathan Entwistle, showrunner of I'm Not Okay With This, believes this was the major cause for the cancellation of his show, and it's likely that other programs suffered from the same fate. One fact that remains for sure is that the cancellation of shows after only 1 or 2 seasons is a difficult but necessary decision based on business aspects. While it can be disappointing for fans of a particular show, it is ultimately a decision that is made in the best interests of the streaming platform and its financial viability. So, what were some of Netflix's canceled shows in 2022? At the beginning of the year, Archive 81 was one of the initial casualties of Netflix's recent approach, showcasing a captivating narrative about a cataloger who was appointed to revive a compilation of tapes and finds proof of a hazardous sect. Archive 81 was released in January 2022 and got pulled off the air 2 months later. This decision came as a major shock, since the show was able to accumulate 130 million viewing hours and even achieved a spot in both Netflix's and Nielsen's top 10 lists. Despite Raising Dion, starring Michael B. Jordan, being highly praised as one of Netflix's best comic book adaptations and one of its most watched shows for 4 weeks in February, it was canceled after 2 seasons. The Babysitter's Club was similarly well received and had a large fan base, but also met the same fate of 2 seasons and no renewal. Space Force, the Steve Carell workplace comedy, which didn't gain the traction it was expected to, was also canceled after 2 seasons. Other canceled Netflix shows of the year which flew under the radar include On the Verge, Hentified, Another Life, and Pretty Smart. This summer, the expectedly popular Resident Evil video game adaptation had a short-lived run on Netflix before it was canceled. The Midnight Club, a show created by Mike Flanagan and part of the Hunting anthology series, was also halted after 1 season. Despite the disappointment, these decisions caused the fans, Netflix, and the show's creators, it was a business choice because the viewership hours for each show didn't offset their respective production costs. Could there be any change in Netflix's cancellation rules following these numerous cancellations? Guys, as you may or may not have known, the cancellation policy of Netflix has now become its most significant hurdle. Historically, Netflix has been the leader in the streaming market. Nonetheless, the streaming wars are posing a challenge to its dominance. Indeed, Netflix is still the market leader, but rivals such as Disney Plus are experiencing a rapid boost in subscribers. Disney Plus is capitalizing on renowned franchises such as Marvel and Star Wars to retain and gain more subscribers. We all know that Netflix has become renowned for its unique programming that creates a lot of buzz. Of course, it's the home of much talked about series such as Stranger Things, The Crown, Bridgerton, and The Umbrella Academy, which have all been acclaimed by both audiences and critics and have become staples of pop culture. Nonetheless, Netflix is also recognized for its habit of abruptly ending shows that other streaming services would be proud of. For instance, Rachel Schuckert's The Babysitter's Club, which won awards, was terminated after only 2 to 3 seasons, like so many other Netflix originals. Netflix is mainly a business that is steered by data. However, the facts that guide the company's decision-making are kept private, meaning that fans of a certain show will never know why it was taken down, even though the showrunners may not be aware of the reason, as Schuckert noted in a conversation with Vulture. This secrecy is becoming a significant concern. Does Netflix suffer from other issues other than the chronic show cancellations that could be contributing to its downfall? Absolutely. Netflix currently suffers from its secrecy and seemingly inefficient algorithm. Let's first start with the secrecy at Netflix. The lack of disclosure from Netflix is becoming a real issue, especially for showrunners who don't have access to the relevant data to determine how their shows are doing. Schuckert remembered being relatively unbothered by the low viewership of The Babysitter's Club until the decision to renew it was delayed. She believes that the show was not getting the proper analysis since it was released at the same time as Squid Game, meaning they were unable to accurately gauge the performance outside their numbers. According to her, it's impossible to know what they are expected to achieve without knowing the numbers of other comparable titles. As it is now, Netflix will provide a background of your figures from the previous season or what their expectations are, but even that is not definitive. You have to take a risk without knowing the full facts. It's a frequent point of discussion when showrunners talk about their shows being canceled. It seems like the shows have been shifting all the time, and they don't know how or why they've been moved, as the criteria that are being used are something that they're not being told. It's disconcerting to hear Schuckert express her bafflement regarding the measurements that Netflix uses to decide what works or what fails. She's been collaborating with the streaming service since 2016, and if she's befuddled, most other producers must be too. Next is the issue with Netflix's algorithm. What about it? One fact that we can't deny is that Netflix's algorithms are often very effective in sorting viewers onto more than 2,000 taste communities, and then providing them with personalized recommendations based on their preferences. However, there are certain cases where the data proved to the algorithm is not complete. For example, the show The Babysitter Club is based on a series of books published between 1986 and 2000, which could potentially evoke fond memories from many viewers' childhoods. Unfortunately, the algorithm cannot detect this sentiment, and thus it misses out on the opportunity to recommend the show to an audience that may have a strong nostalgic connection to the show despite not traditionally watching young adult fiction. As opposed to investing in marketing campaigns, Netflix typically relies on its algorithm to promote its shows, thus leaving those in the potential viewership unaware of the show's existence. It's reported that many people have not been advised to watch the second season of a show, even though they had seen the first one. Schuckert expressed her surprise and asked how it's possible that the algorithm does not recognize that the viewers had enjoyed the first season and should have recommended the second season. She believes it could be due to the nature of the algorithm, which tends to prioritize binge-able shows over those that can be watched gradually, such as The Babysitter's Club. Lastly, as the streaming wars become more intense, none of the companies are making their statistics public, which is understandable due to their commercial importance. Netflix's opponents are not following its data-driven strategy. Rather, they have opted for releasing episodes every week, as this is advantageous for creating engagement and inspiring returning viewership. Such methods may be attractive to talent since producers can comprehend the choices made, as well as be certain their shows will be promoted, thus increasing their probability of success. Although Netflix has been benefiting from its data-based orientation until now, it's becoming a considerable disadvantage. Anyway, guys, we wish to welcome your comments on why you think Netflix canceled so many important shows in 2022, as well as your thoughts on some of the issues that you feel need to be addressed by the company to continue being a successful streaming giant. Also, feel free to add to our thoughts. Finally, remember to like our video and subscribe to our channel. We wish you a prosperous 2023 and see you in our next episode.